3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Joining me today I have Kevin Krummel and Ryan Roberts, and we were just chatting. The connection here is really interesting, also very necessary, and very, very cool. So Kevin, you are with the Quincy Housing Solutions, right? It's your initiative, but you're really just kind of a good Samaritan. Is that right?
That's the case.
That's the case. And then Ryan, you are with the YWCA, and the connection is basically you guys are working together to help the situation of home insecurity. Is that kind of what it is, or how do you call it? Housing insecurity
or homelessness. I mean, depending on the situation.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm using the PC term because I know it kind of goes back and forth. But either way, it's people in a nutshell who have been displaced, and we just don't have anywhere to put them, right? So how did this get started? How did you get involved? I'm really interested to hear how you got involved, Kevin, and then how you guys kind of partnered together.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
So last October, I was invited to a meeting that was called by the mayor and Chuck Bevelheimer. And the problem that they explained was that there were not enough low-income rental properties. Excuse me. And that when they would inspect a property and the property was found to be unlivable, they would placard the house, and then the family would become homeless. What do we do about those homeless people was the mayor's message. So several days later, it occurred to me, well, we need to help find more apartments to rent. And I went to a meeting with United Way, and Ryan and the Quincy Housing Authority were there, and I said, what about this idea? And then we've gathered some people together, and it seems to be a decent idea.
Yeah. And
even in a small way, if we can find one house for the Y, it helps solve a small problem, a big problem with the small step.
Right. Yeah, it is baby steps because, like you mentioned, we have. So in essence, the issue is there just is nowhere, right? We don't have enough.
We don't have enough housing in general in Quincy.
Right. So the YWCA got involved because you have an initiative, right?
Yeah, so the YWCA here in Quincy, our primary mission in Quincy is working with the unhoused population.
Right.
So we have two longer-term programs. One is our PSH program, which is federally grant-funded, and then we have our Justice program, which is state grant-funded. We also have an emergency program that is basically leftover COVID money, so this is probably going to be the last year that we help anywhere from 10 to 15 people at a time, and we get them in housing, and we work with them on trying to get stabilized and stuff, within that 12-month period.
Okay.
But again, that's probably going away here soon. The one thing with all of our programs, they are grant funded, and one of the things people may not understand about grant funding is grants come with a lot of restrictions. So one of the, I guess, most exciting things for me about this partnership is we won't have those restrictions on who we can help and how we can help. We're just going to be able to help with this property that we're working on together. So it's going to allow us to have a lot more flexibility in helping different populations that we may not be able to help right now.
So when you're acquiring this property, is it acquired yet?
We are currently in the process that we've had the inspection done.
Okay.
I have been working with the owner, and we're actually sending local contractors. I have 3 local contractors that have agreed to go in and do basically estimates for me about what we need to do to get the house livable, fully functioning, and things like that. It's also a house that has the ability of being either a 2-unit or a 4-unit.
Okay.
So it'd be 2 2-bedrooms or 4 1-bedrooms.
Okay.
And so they're going to draw up those proposals for me, and we're going to look at those and make sure that there's nothing that wasn't caught in the inspection or anything, because this is a property that we will be rehabbing. It's not one that's currently occupied or
total redo.
Total redo.
Yeah.
So once we get all of that back, we'll know exactly whether we can move forward or not with this particular property. We will be moving forward no matter what, and we think this one's going to work. But we're doing our due diligence to make sure.
So when he came to you, or somehow you guys got connected, right? And do you just then go look for for grants that are set up for this, or how does that work?
So what when Kevin approached us, he approached us about looking to see what we could do, and then it's kind of grown into this 10-person group that have come together, and basically they're almost acting as kind of a fundraising arm for this project.
Gotcha.
So they go out and do the legwork for us, which we can't. I mean, we
Sure.
don't have the staff to do that.
Right.
And so we're very appreciative on that end too. And then the checks and things come directly to the Y. They're in their own, fund. They're in, totally separate from our other funds.
Okay, so it's not a grant. This is personal. These are personal private funds
Yes.
that are being acquired by your committee, which is all volunteers.
Right.
That's outstanding.
Right.
Yeah. So I was confused because I was like, well, if grants are coming in, how are there no
this is
restrictions? This is all
donor funded, and that's what's
amazing.
going to allow us to do more with these
Now I'm
properties.
tracking.
So-
Okay.
So what we've done, Ashley, is we've set a goal of $150,000. We think that will that will allow us to buy the house, rehab the house, and then if we have any money left over, if we're economical, we'll have money to buy a second house. Now, what's happened just recently, and we've only been soliciting funds for about 6 weeks, but we found, through our good fortune, an organization in Quincy who wants to remain anonymous, who has given us $50,000, and it makes me want to cry.
Yeah, that's
I can tell you.
incredible.
And beyond that, individuals have given us another $30,000, and we just have gotten started. So I think we'll hit 100 easily. And if we hit more than 100, then that's a bonus.
That's
That's
outstanding.
like I was telling Kevin before this. It's kind of blown us away how fast they've gotten up and going and moving, and it's been
I mean, sometimes
amazing to see, I guess.
sometimes people want to give. I mean, people love to help, right?
yeah.
Sometimes all it takes is the facilitator,
A message.
right? In a message, and then you kind of create this vortex of,
Yeah.
well, this is how we can help.
That's right.
And I think everybody, especially in Quincy, when you look around and you do see the increasing number of, homeless people, and it kills you, right?
Right.
It breaks your heart to know that people are struggling in that serious of a manner. So it warms my heart that people like you and your group of volunteers come together, and then you kind of help facilitating getting the property right, and then trying to figure out how we make sure that it's livable, that it's safe, and doing it in the best way possible. This partnership. Yeah, you guys are killing it. I love it.
Everybody's excited, and I think, as you said, the citizens who were in watching, listening distance, they've already heard the story. They know what's going on, and they see what's going on. And I think it was said just the other day, the school superintendent said that he knows that the city of Quincy schools have about 100 or more children that are couch surfing, or homeless, as they would call it.
Right.
I think it's couch surfing is the right term.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the reception of our message has been extremely good, and we appreciate your help. And,
Of course. I mean, let's shout it from the rooftop, because, I was talking to the superintendent as well, and, there are, kids have issues. You have to build a strong foundation. A lot of times that starts at home, but if you don't have a home, that's the first place to start, right?
Well,
You gotta
there's
have
a
the
lot of
necessities.
research out there that shows that unstable housing for children, affects them lifelong.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lifelong effect.
Yeah.
And that can have on them, having secure housing positive and not having secure housing in a very negative way.
Absolutely. So how do people help if they want to get in on this?
Call the Y,
Okay.
YWCA,
Okay.
and they will give you all the information you need to write a check to the Y, and again, it has to say Housing Solutions Quincy on it. It'll go into a separate fund, and that money will only be used for this house.
Okay.
For the Y.
And it is, tax deductible. They will receive a letter, contribution letter and things from us, as well as a couple of different thank yous, one from the committee and one from us. And,
Yeah.
we're very appreciative of anybody and everybody who's helping out with this
Sure.
initiative. So.
And any amount.
Any amount.
Any amount.
Any amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it. If you feel compelled to help, which of course I think everybody does, if you are able to help, reach out to Kevin or Ryan. And let's get this going. I think that, house number 1 is what I'm going to call it, right? Because we're going to plan on having multiple.
Excellent.
We need to fill, there's a need, and I'm really, really proud of you for stepping in, and thank you for helping with everything you're doing. It is our job to help our neighbors and help our community, and of course, we all want to do what we can. So,
Thank you very
yes,
much.
I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work, and good luck with everything you do.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Good job.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Coming up next, I sit down with DOB. We talk scams. Stay tuned.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Kelly's has been a fun place to eat and drink in Quincy since 1982. A fun and friendly atmosphere, food with flavor, homemade cinnamon rolls, and famous cheese soup, the best menu in town. Kelly's, 2902 Broadway, Quincy.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
And welcome back. Joining me now, my pal Don O'Brien with the BBB. What's up, DOB?
Just another beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It is, right? And speaking of neighborhoods, now we have a new scam, right?
So this is an interesting one we're going to talk about today. And this one we have in St. Louis, our St. Louis BBB. I'm the Quincy BBB Regional Director. I also work as an investigator. And my investigator hat, I'm on the Consumer Fraud Task Force out of St. Louis at our St. Louis BBB host. And that's a group that meets once a quarter. We have representatives from the Attorney Generals of Missouri and Illinois. We have FBI representation, FTC, U.S. Postal Inspector Service. We have some local law enforcement also in the St. Louis area. Then we come together once a quarter to talk about what's going on.
Sure.
Well, a representative from the U.S. Department of Justice says, hey, I've got this going on, and we're seeing a lot more of this. And they're called courier scams. And courier scams are basically, we always warn folks about how these people want you to pay for things. Don't ever pay in gift cards. Don't ever wire money to people you don't know. Well, in this instance, they're going to send somebody to your house to pick up the money. And it's usually tens of thousands of dollars is what we're seeing. And the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center from May to December of 2023 had a huge uptick in these courier scams and $55 million in losses that were reported. Yes, and it's primarily seniors 65 and older who are targeted in this. And you're like, well, that can't happen around here. We're good old Quincy. Nothing happens around here. Well, in Edina, Missouri, which is only about 45 minutes from here, we had something pop up in March where a woman was told that she was approached by somebody who claimed to be with the FDIC. And the FDIC is, of course, a member of the banking institution. They insure our money at the banks. So the woman was told by this FDIC employee that something was wrong with her account. She needed to pull her money out of the account. He would guard it for her until they figured out what was okay with her account.
And this person's physically at her door. Is that right?
Well, first it was all through phone
Okay.
communications.
Okay.
And then eventually, yes, somebody came to her house. And they took a couple small amounts, and then they went back to get $40-some thousand from her. Luckily, the woman had mentioned something to a family member. And the family member alerted local police there, and the Knox County Sheriff's Department and Missouri State Highway Patrol did a very good job of, after this guy, okay, this is all alleged, by the way. I'm not saying
Sure.
this is all alleged. I'm not trying to convict the guy here.
Yeah.
But according to those police reports, he went and grabbed $40-some thousand from her, and then they arrested him soon after he left their property. And she was told not to tell anybody about this. And luckily she said something to a family member. So if you're dealing with someone and they said don't tell anybody else about this, that's a red flag.
Secrets are bad.
Yes. So this guy was FDIC. The instance in St. Louis where a representative from the U.S. Department of Justice told us about was a family in rural Missouri down in the St. Louis area who was told that there was something wrong with their computer. And someone had been viewing child pornography from their computer. And in order to avoid any charges, they had to pay $88,000. Again, they set up a courier. Courier shows up. Luckily, though, they knew that this was not good. They talked to law enforcement, and law enforcement was there to nab the guy again right after he had taken their money.
So, a couple questions.
Yes.
Does this generally start via a phone or email conversation?
Phone.
Okay.
Yep. Mainly phone, and they're going to target older folks. So that's why we've talked. I know a couple weeks ago we talked about senior scams and how to help our loved ones avoid those types of things. This is kind of part of that. Make sure that you know what your older loved ones are up to without being too intrusive.
Yeah.
You make sure that they know that you're there for them if they need you, and if somebody weird comes knocking on your door or comes to them through their cell phone or whatever that might be.
Yeah, I think you definitely don't want to be intrusive, but maybe schedule something on your calendar like once a month just to check in and say, has anyone requested money from you? Has anyone told you to keep any secrets? This is all for your good. And then maybe once you develop that habit of checking in, they'll develop the habit of, should I be doing this?
Yeah.
Does this seem right? Are there red flags? I think it's really important. And yes, you don't want to be quote unquote a babysitter or make them feel like they're not self-sufficient. But these things happen so easily. I mean, we were talking, a minute ago about how easy it is to be fooled anymore because the technology, the scare tactics, the different avenues, the different channels. It's just so wild how many different ways there are to be scammed, right?
Yeah. The one thing you need to know, the scammers love to act like people that they can trust. They love to act like I talked about the FDIC, and the other ones they were supposedly Microsoft. They love to act like they're the FBI or the FTC or your local law enforcement. We've even had local law enforcement mimicked around here recently too.
Yeah.
Just if you were to get that call that's supposedly from the FDIC, reach out to that organization at a legitimate number, not some number that comes to you from an email or a text message or something. Social Security Administration is another one they like to mimic.
IRS,
yes, all those ones.
Sure.
So in all those instances, with those federal governmental agencies, if they need to get a hold of Ashley, they're going to mail you old school to say, hey, there's something, IRS, we have something that we need to talk to you about, or Social Security the same way. So just know that, again, they like to act like law enforcement. There's not anybody 35 minutes away that's going to come to rescue if you don't pay something right away.
Right.
That doesn't happen. And again, it's just, you just have to think before you act. And I know we've talked about that a lot here over the weeks.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme, but it is really important. And the more urgent the need, or the more secretive they ask you to be, or the more dire, double check.
Yes.
Right, and always call that facility, speak with a reputable representative from that institution, and double check that they would be calling
Banking
you.
is another one they like to act like. They like to act like their bank. Of course, that's the FDIC one was a banking kind of scam. So, they're all out there. They're all lurking. And, it's interesting because we always say that It's not like that somebody's going to come to your doorstep, but now they are coming to your doorstep. And again, a lot of times it's going to be someone who's part of that criminal enterprise who's going to come to your doorstep and take that money. Just put your thinking cap on. If it sounds kind of weird, really look into it before you decide to take any kind of money out of the bank.
And even if they have any kind of identification, don't trust it.
Yes.
Right? Say,
call that, can I talk to your superior?
Do you have a card you can leave
Yes.
me, and I will contact you, and then use that card.
Yes, to see if it's legitimate first.
Well, to see if it's legitimate, but also don't trust the card because the number on there could be, right? So
Correct.
then contact local law enforcement or
Yep.
somebody to say, would this be legit? Or Don O'Brien at the BBB.
BBB, I can certainly help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can help you figure that out. My number is 217-209-3972. You can call me, or, again, law enforcement, if you're here in Quincy and have something like this, they have a really good senior resources officer. If you have someone who's a loved one who's a senior needs help, Detective Bemis is really good about doing, helping people out. So there are places and people that can help you. Just don't automatically give in to the scammer.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure you're speaking with your family members and making sure that your friends, your neighbors, if you hear of a scam, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I should probably pass that along, do so.
Yep.
Right?
Call me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don O'Brien, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I never liked the topic, but it's good to be in the know. So here we are. The more you know. Dun, dun, dun. All right. I think that does it for today's Daily Muddy. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for Club Muddy. See you then.